morning. Today we'll be studying about typography and iconography. So, whenever we are looking at any information, for example, any billboards, newspapers, or our groceries, the products that we purchase from markets, we see a lot of information is provided on it in the format of text. So now all these texts that we see, so they differ in lot many ways, like we can see here on the screen as well, that how the text is written in different styles. So this is for to communicate the information to the viewer or the user, and how we present this text, the style in which this text is designed and it is provided to us is typography. So we'll see a little bit about typography and how it is used and what are the key elements. So typography consists of several important aspects or elements, we can say, and here we can see some of the important elements on the screen. So we'll take a look at each of them and see a little bit more in detail. So now typography versus font. So now sometimes we use both the terms interchangeably. However, there is a difference between the two, and where the typeface is a set of font in the same font family. For example, when we say Arial or when we say Times New Roman or Calibri or any other style, so that is the typeface. And when we modify this typeface through manipulations such as the size or the thickness, bold, making it bold, italics and other things. So then it is the font. So where we are modifying the weight style of a typeface. So we can see some examples here, that how on the right side the font that we see is 12 point, then it is 14 point Times New Roman, and then it is bold and italics, etc. So that is the major difference between these two terminologies. The next important aspect is the serif, sans serif script and the decorative types of this particular typeface. So now serif, if you see the first example of Times New Roman, so there is a small projection on the letter. So you can see on T also there is this at the ends on the horizontal line, there are these two small vertical lines, projections, and on the main vertical line of T there is a small horizontal projection. So these are the serif. And when we remove these serif, so sans is French word which means without or in absence of. So now sans serif means that in the absence of serif. So for that reason we can see that Calibri is one of those typefaces which does not have this serif, and then so it becomes the sans serif font. And there are certain literature and studies that have been done which says that when there's a lot of text available for the user to read, so sans serif is a better style to read because it maintains the continuity of the reader. It is easier to read by the user. Now script is, as you can see this next here, so it is the font which appears like a handwritten text. So of course it is a printed text and it has uniformity in terms of all the variations that are there, but still it appears as if it was handwritten. So it appears to be cursive. And then we have decorative typeface. So this is most diverse and it's popular for using in headings and signages in other areas where we want some attention of the user because it stands apart from the other standard. So this is the decorative typeface, and there are several typefaces available in this particular category, and based on the design that we want to communicate or the message we want to get across, the kind of feeling we want to generate, so we can use the different typeface in this particular category. Now three terminologies which are kerning, leading and tracking. So these three are talking about the different spaces between the letters or two lines. So here we can see that the leading here is the space between the lines of the text. So we can see here the text is space and between. So the distance between the two, so it is very important because that helps in the readability, especially when there is a lot of text on the screen or in a printed copy. So there this becomes a very important aspect. Then kerning is the space between the two individual characters. So now we can see here that between S and P there is a certain gap and so on. Now if this gap increases, so for example, if between P and A we double this gap or we double this kerning, so what will happen is we will probably read SP as one and ACE as another word. So that is why it's so important to maintain that gap between the letters also itself. So now this particular distance is generally determined by the designer. So depending on how we want to communicate or how large the screen is or the background is, so according to all of that, the distance can be tweaked. And finally, we have the tracking, which refers to the overall letter spacing of an entire word or passage of the text. So we can see here that from B to N, that is the tracking for that particular word. So hierarchy and sizing. So we have also seen hierarchy in the principles of design aspect, and here also in typography also hierarchy becomes very important, because hierarchy determines how we are reading the information presented to us and what is it that we are reading first, and it also helps us determine whether it is something of our interest as well, so that we may continue reading or we may stop there. So here we can see that the heading of the page, the title, or it can be an important message. So this is basically designed for attracting the users. So if you see the newspapers and there you see the main heading, so those headings are generally designed for the attention of the user. Even in magazines you may see that in articles, so the heading is something which may, you know, help the user make a decision whether to read forward, read further, or if they may want to change the page and read something else. Then subheading is the next section which adds context and divides the sections of the document so that it becomes very easy for one to navigate. Now if somebody is writing an article on, say for example, tourist spaces or tourist places of Uttarakhand, then in that case, if this article is 5 pages long, so it will be very difficult for the user to connect from page 1 to page 5. Now if there are certain headings talking about different places like Masuri, Dehradun and Haridwar and other places, and then categorizing those also into, say for example, temples or riverfront areas or mountains or other attractions, so it makes it very easy for the user to make sense, and it helps in the navigability as well as it reduces the cognitive load on the user. And the third is the body, which consists of the main content of the article or the, you know, news that we are reading. So that is the main content. So now the main heading and the subheadings, they just give a direction to the user, and the main story is within this particular body. So now this body should help the readability, because this is where the user or reader will spend the most time, because they will be now reading the entire article. For example, like I said, if it is about the tourist places of Uttarakhand, then they will spend more time reading those areas that attract them. For example, fun activities for children. So if they want to read that particular section, so that section also has to have text which is easier to glide through. And there all the aspects of kerning and leading, those will be important, because they will maintain the readability aspect of the user so that they do not switch between lines unwantingly, and they're able to read the entire passage in a smooth flow. Now, some of the important aspects which are there for maintaining the this body is the font size. So that is an important aspect, that how much should be the font text. So now for making this body readable, like I mentioned, so there are some further points which will determine that this readability is maintained. So one is the body text or the font size. So how much font size should be there, that is important. Now the font size for the body can be around 16 pixels to 18 pixels for legibility. This is for the desktop. And also we can also go a little bit higher depending on what kind of an article or the information that we are communicating. Then as for the headings, so the headings should be around 1.96 times larger than the body text. So that means that if we have 16 pixel body text, so our heading becomes around 35 pixels. And then we come to our subheadings, so they are smaller than the heading but larger than the body, so they are somewhere around 30 pixels if our main heading is 35 pixels. So of course these numbers can be tweaked slightly, but it's important that the proportion is maintained so that one is able to distinguish between the heading and the subheading and of course the body of the text. Now coming to hierarchy and size, so of course this again is one of the principles of design, and here also it is equally applicable. So depending on our screen size, depending on the mode, so whether it is digital, whether it is print, so this hierarchy and sizing can be tweaked accordingly. So some of the important aspects for the elements that are there in typography hierarchy, so these are here, which are typeface selection, font weight, font size, color, spacing, alignment and typography style. So we will just quickly discuss what are each of those. So typeface selection is like I showed in the previous slide. So whether we want to select Arial or Times New Roman and what kind of field we want to generate. Do we want it to be a formal text, informal text, and also we want to see that what kind of contrast we want to generate, because it's important to keep that also in mind, that contrast will also bring attention of the user to our text, the information presented in front of them. So of course the contrast also has to be maintained in the sense that there's not too much of contrast so that it becomes chaotic. At the same time, for providing emphasis, so for that we of course need to have some level of contrast. So now this can be used for the headings, subheadings and the body of the text. So now the designer may choose to change the typeface. So for example, somewhere it may be italic, somewhere it may become larger or bold. So depending on what kind of emphasis we are trying to create, so that can be manipulated accordingly. Now the font weight, of course the thickness of the typeface, so whether we want light or bold or we want it to be regular, so that we can distinguish between the different parts of the article. And then font size, so larger or smaller, so that has to be determined. Color becomes very important because it also either will make or break the readability. If for example we have an orange background and text which is yellow, so readability will be compromised because the contrast between the two is very little. But when we have say a navy blue background and a yellow text on top of it, so the contrast is much higher. So in the previous lecture I mentioned this in quite a bit of detail about this contrast in color, so you may want to go back and take a look at it. Then next is the spacing that I just mentioned in the previous few slides, that how the spacing is important for the readability, for one to maintain the continuity of reading the text. So for example, if now the paragraphs are also one way to maintain this readability, because one text, a block, which is a huge block, becomes very difficult for one to read, because while we are reading the paragraph we may get lost and we may forget where we had stopped. But when we break the information into paragraphs, so it helps us categorize the information also, and also it ensures that the user is able to place themselves. The wayfinding in the text becomes very easy for the user that way. And then alignment is whether the text is left aligned or right aligned, or it is in the middle of the page. So that also needs to be determined, because that also makes the readability quite easy for the user, and at the same time it also conveys the hierarchy. And finally the typography styles. So for example, the italics or underlining to highlight certain important words. So how are we using these styles? So this also helps in the overall hierarchy of the typography, and this helps in establishing a certain reading pattern and helps the user with lowering the cognitive load and also making it a very easy process for them to go through the entire information. Now, some of the best practices in typography are readability, legibility, and accessibility should be prioritized. So, I have mentioned earlier also in few lectures how accessibility is an important aspect. And there's a lot of focus not only on the physical accessibility like we see around us, all the government buildings have to be accessible, but also the digital interface needs to be accessible by people, because we have people with different abilities, and now this also has to be accessible. So now, for example, we have the dark mode in our phones in various applications, and the dark mode helps us reduce the pressure on the eyes, the brightness which may be very jarring for the eyes. So the dark mode helps in balancing it out, so there is less pressure on the eyes. And then also that the main purpose of typography, which is for communication, which is to make the text understandable, so if that is not achieved, then the whole purpose is defeated. So how do we make the readability, legibility, accessibility our main priority? So it becomes very important for that purpose. Also, we have to consider that the environment of the user, where is the user interacting with this particular application, so that becomes important. And the color also is very important for accessibility, similar to the dark mode that I mentioned, so that also becomes very important. Now, coming to the next point, which is the use of hierarchy. So now hierarchy improves the user experience to a large extent, because it communicates what is more important and should one spend more time on it or not, and helps organize and prioritize the content, which I have discussed already. Now, avoiding too many typefaces. So this is also important, that although typefaces help us in organizing the content, in hierarchy, in readability, at the same time, if too many different typefaces are used, then it will also confuse the user. So there should be a certain rule that the designer must follow, and then this typefaces should be maintained across the pages, so that there is a uniformity that is there, and the number of typefaces should be limited, so that the information is conveyed, but at the same time the unity of the application is not broken. At the same time, if there are too many typefaces, then the application loading time also increases, so that also we have to keep in mind, that for seamless experience for the user, we have to maintain the number of typefaces that we are using. So coming to next point, which is use complementing typefaces. So of course, doing our research and finding that what are the complementary typefaces, so that becomes important. And now they are complementary, and also they have to be contrasting, because if they are quite similar to each other, then also the user will not be able to identify the differences between the two. So it becomes important that the contrast is also maintained between typefaces, otherwise there is no purpose really for using different typefaces. Now, making the typography scalable or responsive typography, so this is important, because for our design, for example, we are making an application, so we may have to design it for desktop also, for mobile also, and for say an iPad also. So the typography should be flexible enough to accommodate to each of these different mediums. So it becomes important that on each of these platforms the user experience is the same, and it is not hindered because of the medium that they are using, the screen that they are changing. So for that reason, the typography has to scale well. So, and it should not be determined or based on the screen size. So the designer has to keep in mind of this particular fact. And also to maintain visual contrast. So for example, by using font weights, making few of them bold or regular, and then the brand identity, which means selecting a typeface that reflects the brand. So if we have say a website for tourism, Uttarakhand tourism, so we'll have to use a font which communicates the feeling of traveling, the feeling of tourism, and it cannot be something which will be used, say for example, to be put up on outside the committee room. So it both have a different feel to it. Committee room is for meetings, is for formal events, whereas traveling has many purposes. it can be for pleasure and leisure as well. So now here also the typeface becomes very important, that which typeface we are using for this particular purpose that we have. Now coming to iconography, so we have in front of us a number of icons. So icons are a very fun way to communicate, and they're very easy because we understand with the visual perception that what is it trying to communicate to us. So we can see here that there are certain principles for iconography. So first is the clarity. Now the icon that we have should clearly communicate the concept. So now we only increase the cognitive load if the icon is ambiguous. So for example, when we have a home button on the website, so it appears like a house, the front of the house, and it is very easy to identify it, and we know that if we click it, we'll go back to the home of the website. But if we modify this home and we make it larger or complex, so one may get a little confused that how do I reach home, because this new icon probably may not depict the home and we may not be able to connect with this particular icon. So clarity becomes very important, because the user should not spend too much time figuring out the icon, but they should be able to immediately use that icon to move forward within the space. Then next is the readability. So too many fine lines and too many decorative lines, they also create confusion and they make the readability very difficult. So the readability has to be maintained, because the user should be able to identify the icon immediately. The next is the alignment. So the right adjustment to balance out an icon is important, because it has to feel harmonious, it has to sit within the context of the web page, so it has to go along with the rest of the elements that are present there. Next is the brevity. So we have to find a way to say more, so it should speak louder but with fewer decorative elements and fewer lines, and the concept should also be simple and easy to grasp by the user. The next principle is that of consistency. So the same style, if we have say 6 different types of icons that are being used in our website, then we have to ensure that the same style is there, which means the visual weight, the stroke thickness and shape, size, fill, all of those should have some kind of a similarity. They should not all be very different in style, in visual style and language. So this consistency is important throughout all the icons that we are using. And finally, we have ease of use, which means that a certain research or study must be done beforehand for the designer to know that yes, this particular icon is having all of these properties where there's clarity and no ambiguity and it is readable, so that others are also able to identify with this particular icon. So we can see here that if I remove the text from here, so name, phone, still we will be able to identify what these icons stand for. And we can see the difference in which the icons have been designed. Some have a fill of black and some have a white in there. So now these icons can be a representation of an object from the real world, or a fantasy, or a sound, or a gesture, or from, say, it could also be an action, and it can also be a feeling. So all of these can be depicted with the help of the icons. So the users have to decode the meaning of the icon without using the labels. So if you see in our phones also, when we scroll through our phone through different pages, there are also certain times we don't even read, but the icon tells us what it stands for. So that is what it means by understanding the meaning of it. So the particular metaphor or the secret should be understood by the user without the help of the text as well. So a metaphor, or also it is known as the heart of an icon, so it's a representation associating one object or meaning with another. So now some metaphors have become very iconic, that they carry unmistakable associations, and other icons have changed over time. So here is one such icon, which is that of a floppy, and I'm not sure if all of you have actually seen a floppy with your eyes because we don't use it anymore, and we don't even use CDs much anymore. We have come to a pen drive and much more faster ways of exchanging information. But this floppy stands for the save. So when we have to save, we click on this particular floppy. But it has become such an interesting icon. It has passed down over the years so much that everybody identifies this particular icon as the save icon. So this is what I mean by how the some of the icons have continued from the past well into the present and also maybe in the future as well. And there are other icons which we probably don't use as much and they have changed their form over time. And some of the other platform specific designs like share. So we when we see these three dots and two straight lines, we know that we have to share feature on Android, then share in Windows. So these icons without the text also tell us what is to be done with them. Also here we have the platform specific, again the desktop icon and the mobile icon. So how the slight differences changes their usage, and also the appearance of icons, how it can vary with respect to the context, background and use case. So here we can see that in the black mode, how would the icons appear when they are default, hover and disabled. So they all three themselves have a distinct fill, and when it becomes the dark mode, then we can see how the color, that fill flips so that they maintain the contrast, and also the meaning of the icons is not lost. So we'll end today's lecture here and I will see you in the next class. Thank you.